proud conservative. I always have been. As a proud conservative, I've always put democracy and our Constitution above all else. So while I certainly don't agree with President Biden on everything, and I never thought I'd be endorsing a Democrat for president, I know that he will always protect the very thing that makes America the best country in the world, our democracy. And it's because of my unwavering support for democracy that today, as a proud conservative, I'm endorsing Joe Biden for re-election.
That this is a stark choice. This isn't just, you know, who do I agree with more on certain issues? I actually don't even really know where Donald Trump stands on many issues.
Trump's tough guy image just collapsed faster than his Atlantic City casinos. Adam Kinzinger, who actually fought in Iraq, exposed Trump as a marshmallow who dodged military service with bone spurs while real Americans served their country. What's even more shocking, when Kinzinger suggested Trump's marriage to Melania is as fake as his strength, Trump didn't defend his wife. He just pouted and complained. Is there anything genuine about the man who wants to be president again? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Have you ever noticed that when someone made fun of their girlfriend, the toughest guys in school were the ones that cried? Trump has just shown that he is that person.
If he stands up and he talks about policy, he talks about issues, and talks about, you know, like basically gives a speech he's never given before. But again, I mean, even today, he put out a Truth Social that's like, you know, I forget what it was, attacking Joe Biden, of course, and all the January 6ers who are really just hostages. An insurrection against our Capitol that was violent, that attacked police officers, that attacked innocent people, and pretending like it never happened.
Not by criticizing his ideas or his hair. Adam Kinzinger delivered a blow that sent our former president into toddler tantrum zone. Instead, he pointed out that his marriage, like his tough guy persona, is wholly phony. When America's biggest, fiercest, and most self-assured man begins to whimper as if his ice cream cone has been stolen, you know you've struck a nerve. Comparing Trump's marriage to his public persona, Kinzinger went straight for his paper-thin ego, claiming that both were built on illusions and fake strength. Aw, that must be more painful than using the spray tan machine at its highest level. Not only what Kinzinger said,
during a peaceful transfer of power, and then act like it's the other side that's created an environment where there is violence in our discussion. No, look, we have to be serious about this, but what we can't do, and this is what I get worried about, is that we're gonna be intimidated away from telling the American people the truth, which is Donald Trump truly is a threat to democracy. Fred Upton, a congressman from Michigan, he has what we call the Upton prophecies, where he kind of like predicts what's gonna happen in the future. And he told me on January 7th, he goes, Donald Trump's gonna run again. And I'm like, no way. I don't believe it, Fred.
Trump's response is far more telling. Trump instantly went on the defensive with his typical childish comments, rather than dismissing it like the ostensibly unstoppable strongman he poses as. The same old name-calling routine that we've seen 1,000 times, with no innovative comebacks or substantive defense. For someone who always boasts about his toughness, he falls apart more quickly than a cheap lawn chair at a hurricane party in Florida. Kinzinger was a full-fledged wrestling commentator, so he didn't just throw a punch. He said that Trump was softer than a microwaved marshmallow, which, to be honest, may be the best way to sum up what happens when that former president is criticized. He may be a puffed up tough guy one moment, and then a mushy pile of hurt sentiments the next. After that, Kinzinger gave the decisive blow, claiming that Trump's resistance to criticism is about as strong as a soggy paper towel. Where's the lie, really? Every time someone says something hurtful about Trump, we've all witnessed his Truth Social meltdowns.
I want, when I get out of here, to leave a country stronger than I came in. Donald Trump came in and basically has said, it's all about me.
I'm genuinely surprised how people close to Trump haven't talked about the odor. It's truly something to behold. Wear a mask if you can. And that's the Trump formula.
A little bit of a pungent odor, I would say, yeah. People were a little scared to talk about it, but it was obvious. Maybe it wasn't permanent or all the time, but It's there.
Kinzinger's experience, not merely his use of language, is what makes his attack so powerful. Kinzinger served in Iraq, unlike Bone Spurs McGee. He has experienced true courage, therefore he knows what it looks like. It feels different when someone who has experienced real danger confronts you for acting brave. If a competent chef were to inform you that your microwave supper isn't gourmet, they would be aware of it. Kinzinger's point is further supported by Trump's response to all of this. Trump didn't act like a man who was strong and secure in his wife when his marriage was brought into question. He did not dismiss it with jest. He didn't even say, "Thank you, my wife and I are very happy." Not at all. Playing the victim, he complained about being treated unfairly and that no one respected him. I don't know what screams insecurity more than that. However, why was the marriage remark so much more offensive than the other? Trump's comparison of his marriage to his phony tough guy persona threw him into a tailspin, despite the fact that he has been referred to as a failed businessman and a potential dictator. Perhaps because it goes right to the heart of his meticulously crafted persona. What's genuine about him if his marriage is as fake as his strength then? Is anything real, or is Donald Trump merely a comb-over wielding empty orange shell? The entire collapse confirms what many had long suspected. Trump's strong guy persona is merely a cheap Halloween costume that breaks apart at the first sign of pressure. He walks around like a heavyweight champion, but when someone reveals the obvious, that the emperor is naked save for an odd tan, he breaks down like a biscuit.
You know, people will tell me sometimes like, Adam, you're courageous, and I appreciate it. I'm not courageous though. I'm surrounded by cowards.
Donald Trump is a weak man pretending to be strong.
Americans that were concerned about January 6th that still voted for Donald Trump because other issues, economics, inflation, whatever. All we can do as leaders, as media, is just tell the American people the truth. And it's on the American people to seek out true information and not be manipulated, abused by a weak, small man. People were a little scared to talk about it, but it was obvious. Maybe it wasn't permanent or all the time, but it's there.
It's almost depressing when you think about it. Imagine being so brittle that you lose it all at the mention of your marriage. The majority of secure people would simply ignore it. However, Trump is unable to do so since this delusion of strength is central to who he is. What does he have without it? A 77-year-old man with an obsessive fixation on crowd sizes and daddy issues. The true irony here is that Trump's response to Kinzinger's remarks regarding his phony strength just serves to highlight how phony it is. Had he been genuinely strong, he would have laughed it off or come up with a clever reply. His outburst instead would have caused a 2-year-old to remark, "Dude, pull yourself together." Well, people, there you have it. In his description of Trump, Kinzinger was spot on. A weak man pretending to be strong. That's a great way to sum up our past president. When someone exposes the reality about his life, this man who says he is tough as nails completely breaks down. The pattern is really obvious. Trump breaks down more quickly than a sandcastle during high tide when confronted with serious issues that call for real guts. January 6th, when leadership was most needed, he was nowhere to be seen. Trump consistently opted for the illusion when it came to the conflict between substance and performance. No spine, all hat, no cattle, or in this instance, all spray tan.